Liberation greetings to all and sundry, my people of the southern Cameroons, my people of Ambazonia. Accept New Year greetings from me today, Comrade John Akuro. Today is December 31, 2021. I'm saying New Year, Happy New Year already because I know that there are some Southern Cameroonians, some Ambazonians in some parts of the world where it is already January 1. That is why to those of you who are in those areas, I already say Happy New Year. And to those of us who are still waiting some hours before we cross over into the new year, all I will say is, first of all, Happy New Year 2022 in advance, because I'm wishing and praying that God will make it possible for all of us to see this brand new year. My people, this December 31, I'm not yet coming for us to take stock of what has happened in the course or of what happened in the course of 2021. We will have the opportunity to do that well inside January 2022. Today, I'm just coming to point out certain issues, my people, that are very important and fundamental to us all as we look forward to getting into the new year and with respect to the immediate challenges before us, even those that we should be overcoming even as we go ahead right now. And before I get into the crux of the matter, I want to point out that I took delight to, listen to Mr. Paul Biya of neighboring La République du Cameroon, because, our noisy neighbors always have the habit of interfering into the affairs of the people of Ambazonia, of La République du Cameroon. Unexpectedly, of course, their nonagenarian president, who barely managed to have some little breath to come talk to them today, had the opportunity to talk about Southern Cameroons. He failed even to use the occasion of his speech to wish Happy Independence Day to his people of La République du Cameroon. Because tomorrow, January 1, is the Independence Day of La République du Cameroon. And I wish the people collectively begin to understand that they have to muster courage to begin celebrating their Independence Day and forget about the pipe dream that they are going to cloak Ambazonia, cloak the Southern Cameroons under their cloak in some fabric they call or continue to call spatial status. So my people, before I even get into the few things that I picked from what he was saying, I like to do one very important thing. And please, I'm sorry about my voice because, I have been under the weather in the past few days. And so the effect is still felt on, in my voice. But I couldn't resist, the strong urge to come here for us to have this conversation, because our liberation movement would definitely never be on holiday. It will never know any holiday until we attain our objective, that of total and unfettered freedom for Ambazonia. Take note, my people, that the enemies against us continue to multiply by the day, but at the same time, our strengths continue to get greater projection. At the same time, we continue to get, new strong points developing by the day, a clear indication that what is against us is far, far, far minimal in strength than what is for us. This is the reason I'm going to urge each and every one of us Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, to join me this day to celebrate a set of people. I know people will say there's no time for celebration. There's no time for healing. No, we have to at some point begin to stop and congratulate some people and hail them and celebrate them and make them know that we know they exist. Even if they don't want us to know them, we know they are there. We know the wonderful job they are doing. We know the sacrifices they are making on a daily basis to make sure that we attain our objective. I call these the silent heroes of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia liberation movement. These silent heroes are in their thousands in the Southern Cameroons. They are dotted all over the globe. They are in threes, in fours, in fives. These are men and women who have vowed that they will not know sound sleep until Southern Cameroon is free. These are men and women, young boys and girls, who have told themselves that they don't want you to know them. They don't want to be known. They have no political ambition. They are not interested in power. They are not at all. They don't even have any specific economic interest. They have one interest, one motivation, one driving force, seeing a free homeland so that they, if they are alive to see it happen, tomorrow they'll have a place again they call home. Their children will have a place they call home. Our children and theirs will have a homeland again. Generations upon generations of Southern Cameroonians will enjoy a homeland again. There is no place like home. No place at all like home. That is why I hail these silent heroes. These silent heroes belong to none of our groups. None of those groups, movements, and organizations you call front line or back line or middle line. They belong to none. These are people who are simply committed to the cause and have refused to be part of the hula baloo, part of the confusion going on in our movement. They observed early enough that if everyone decided to pay heed, pay attention to this confusion, we will get up one morning and realize we have no struggle anymore. So they decided to take the higher ground, where a good lot of us went low, fighting among ourselves, attacking each other, fighting for positioning, developing governments for a country that we are still to have. While we were doing all this, they were and are still concentrating simply on ensuring a free homeland. My people, it makes sense therefore to stop and hail all these anonymous individuals. They are boys, they are girls. They are men, they are women. They are old, they are young. They are doing everything. A good lot of them working day and night to keep our dream alive. And I will shock you by letting all of us know that their actions, their activities, their contributions, the directives they give to all the actors on the ground account for at least 85% of the resilience, the resistance that we know on ground zero. That is what has kept the struggle alive. Not our noisy movements, groups, and organizations that have become political parties where people fight mainly for power, for positioning, for money, for influence. So my people, join me in hailing these people. Congratulate them. Those of you who know them, call them. Say, bro, sister, mama, papa, you are doing an awesome job. Please keep it up. These are my heroes of the year 2021. And I must continue to hail you every day that God has created. I also want again to take this opportunity, my people, to share a message here with us. This message was not sent to me directly. This is a comment someone dropped on my YouTube channel. This message is dropped on my video on Christmas Day, my Christmas Day message, where I have the Father Christmas cap, so you can check it out. The name of the author of this message is Free Mind. I want to share this text, not because of anything, but because it should help us to understand, to comprehend exactly why we have to keep this resistance alive. To understand why we must, my people, stop the infighting. Why we must, my people, pay heed and attention to the good counsel that comes to us from friends on the international scene about synergy, about beginning a healing process, a true and veritable healing process. Because they say, and I say, we cannot just synergize one morning. We have to sit again, sit together again. Just like we sat in Toronto recently, like we've been sitting in conclaves, we have to sit again together, have a kind of veritable truth and reconciliation among ourselves. Each of us, including me, must recognize our faults, where we went wrong, accept what we did wrong. Look at each other eyeball to eyeball and say, this path we took was wrong. This one I did was wrong. The other one that I did was not correct. And honestly, I apologize for this. And we all come out of there and determine, therefore, set in place checks and balances that would enable us craft a new path forward where we will together be able to do things and avoid the pitfalls of the past. So that in 2022, we will sweep the past behind us, not by sweeping with it the errors that we committed, but by making sure we wash those errors and turn them into strong points so that in 2022, we will not repeat those same errors. In 2022, going forward, we will not repeat those same errors. That way, my people, we will do proper healing, and then we can now begin to synergize. In the absence of this, we will be wanting to do things the same way and then expecting different results. That has not worked anywhere, and it will not work only in our case. Now, this text goes. This man, his name is Free Mind. This text was dropped yesterday, December 30. He says, the foolish thing you have ever done was to quit your job at the CRTV and putting upon yourself a permanent self-exile. Mark that. Put you upon yourself a permanent self-exile. Let me stop there first. What does this mean? He says the most stupid thing, the most foolish thing, whether he or her, because her name is simply Free Mind, and the most stupid thing I ever did was leaving my job at CRTV to carry myself into something that has placed on me a permanent self-exile. It says permanent. Mark this one. Because this is exactly what they think of all of us Southern Cameroonians, especially those of us in the diaspora. This is what they think of us, that we will never see homeland again. And that is the truth. If we fail in this movement, bid goodbye to homeland forever and ever. This is why failure is not an option. This is why we should not even contemplate, even think about it. If they can say this to me, think about our children who are still innocent, who are still growing up. And he says, or he or she says, instead of continuing to ramble on nonsenses, I read exactly what is written, you should find a way to bring peace in your country. Maybe by doing so, you might see your land again. As an intelligent man, you know very well that your cause has failed, F-E-L-L. But out of pride, you refuse to give up. And the delusional who follow you on ground zero keep dying. My people. This kind of text dropped to me. This is the visible part of it. I don't want to tell you the number of calls I receive on a daily basis, sometimes from former colleagues, sometimes from even, some who were in high places that we had the opportunity of working together. Come back. You please did they come back. We will put you exactly where you are and where you were and even promote you. And they have succeeded in distracting some in our movement by showing them this marriage. Why do I call it marriage? Not like I didn't have, no. I was fine. Because there are many in this movement that if they had 1/5 of my earnings, they wouldn't be in this movement at the time. But I must assure you, my people, there is a way that our Creator talks to us to remind us of the mission that is entrusted in each and every one of us with respect to the cause of humanity. Messages like this one have caused some of our people to abandon our noble cause for freedom in return for a marriage. Some $35,000. That's 35 million. Some this amount, some that amount. My people, listen. The glory that lies ahead of us in Ambazonia is bigger than the millions of dollars that the Republic of Cameroon can dole at your footstep or at your doorsteps. Trust me so much on this when I tell you. There is joy in having freedom of mind. Joy in having a quiet and clean conscience. Joy in sleeping and hoping that by the time I get up in the morning, my people would be somewhere praying for me constantly, telling God, please, God, let him or her be safe. And that joy comes only when you begin to recognize that the most important thing to do is to stand up for the oppressed people that God has put at your disposal. to be your people. So today, what I'm trying to say is, you will get a good lot more of these messages in the days ahead. Whether you hold a position in this struggle or you don't hold it, but just that you are an opinion leader, just that you can be an influencer, just that you are a member of a women's group, just that you are a member of a cultural and development association, you will receive this kind of messages directly to you. I'm saying so because that is what I have been told. This is what La République will try to do for all of 2022, because they have run out of two things. One, options. Completely out of options to break the resistance on the ground. And number two, they have run out of money. So the only other thing they have left will be propaganda and a marriage. Now, what is a marriage? Some will say, that big grammar. What's a marriage? Look, marriage is like, I call you and I tell you, like I told the fun of Bambalang, look, show me where no PT is, 200 million. But you will never see that money. You carry yourself in, and then you find yourself enjoying Christmas in places no one knows. You fall for those things, and then you find yourself being tricked. My people of the Southern Cameroons, history books don't talk about people who had the opportunity to stand up for what is right, but decided to stand on the side of the oppressor, even anonymously. When the history books mention you, it is not with kind words. And don't forget, the name you leave is the first legacy for your children and generations of your descendants to come. It is that name which is their first capital. If that name is anathema, they will change it. They will. But if that name is gold, they will cling to it. Even people coming from outside to marry in that family will want to take a part of that name. That is why integrity is the first gold for each and every one. So my people, in 2022 is going to be a lot of this. So messages like this one, they come in. You will receive them because La République knows that having done everything to downplay the strength of the various groups, nothing has changed negatively with respect to the momentum of our struggle on the ground. So they are confused. They know that there's a driving force somewhere else. So now they are going to use propaganda, a lot of propaganda, to try to claim things that are not real. So part of that propaganda, of course, you can see some of us got up from bed yesterday and saw this on social media. And I could see a lot of the social media platforms of people of La République du Cameroun. They were in all joy, in total celebration. Ivalile, Willie de Paris, the Amber boy, was lured to La République du Cameroun with promise of huge sums of money to go to Cameroon and animate the AFCON. And so he fell for the grains of corn dropped, and he flew to Cameroon, and as they speak, he is right in Konenge. That was about Willie de Paris, the Amber boy. But my people, when I got up, I said, but wait a minute. Is Willie de Paris truly an Amber boy? If Willie de Paris truly is an Ambazonian, he will not reason that way. He will not forget suddenly that La République remains La République. That these are people who are extremely rancorous. Extremely rancorous. But it was only one of theirs who fell in his own trap because he has forgotten the kind of country he comes from. And so this guy, his name is Mendo. Willie Mendo. He is also Willie, but not Willie de Paris. This Willie Mendo is a gentleman who played a soundtrack in the early 80s to honor their football team, the football team of their country, Les Lions Indomptables. And that song was Cameroun, oh, 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 oh. Lions and on tableau, and he said all kinds of things. Oh, say sorcier. Oh, no, oh, say Cameroon. Some vraiment sorcier. Of course, they are sorcier, and we know. So he was like, they called him. They said, you honor the country so well with that beautiful song. Willie Mendo is a gentleman who had rigged that country of a lot of money, plenty of it. And he climbed on the toes of a lot of the people in governing circles at the time he left the country. But of course, he's one of them. He had finished the money that he grabbed, finished it completely. And so over time, he saw in the Southern Cameroon's independence movement or freedom movement, liberation movement, his opportunity to mend his fences with La République du Cameroun, with the authorities of La République du Cameroun. So Willie Mendo is one of those who was on social media every day, calling Southern Cameroonians names, calling us roaches, calling us all of those kind of names, and saying repeating all the inanities that we heard the Jacques Zays, the Ernest Obamas, and the others say. That you hear that one they call Mwen. In fact, I'm even forgetting, that's Matthias Eric Onangini. All of those kind of things, he was raining them on us on social media and hailing Paul Biya as a patriot, as their liberator. He also opened his eye on Maurice Kamto. And so Willie Mendo was so convinced that he had already played paparazzi, or rather he had played his vuvuzela for Paul Biya against Southern Cameroonians so well so that his sins might have been forgiven. He was so convinced that, his praise singing had delivered him. And so La République saw their opportunity in his opportunity. And that is why they invited him to the embassy of La République du Cameroun in France to go there and perform that his beautiful song of the early 80s. Cameroon, oh, whoa, 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 Lions and on top. And they gave him a lot of, they were spraying money on him. Dollars, euro, Swiss franc, all the currency, pound sterling on him. And the guy was like, oh my goodness, the good days have come again. And at the end, they told him, look, we are giving you papers and everything. You have to go to Cameroon to encourage the indomitable life. You have to go and electrify the place with this beautiful music. So when Mendo came out of the place, he was so excited. He took this picture himself. This is Willie Mendo's page on Facebook. So he put there après le show avec les officiers supérieurs à l'ambassade du Cameroun à Paris. So Mendo knew he was flying to Cameroon to a hero's welcome for all his attacks and insults against the peace-loving, freedom-seeking people of Ambazonia, of the southern Cameroons. Oh, poor Mendo. As soon as he landed, the real La République du Cameroun surfaced at the airport, Simalene Yaoundé. The touch of the cobra. Willie Mendo didn't have the least opportunity to hug a single family member. As soon as he got into the tunnel, got to the checkout, he was harvested from there straight, because a remand warrant and everything had been signed, straight to Kondengi. That is who La République du Cameroun is. That is who Mr. Paul Biya's country is. That is who exactly the surrogates of France are. They don't forget. That is why my people of the southern Cameroons, those of you taking sides with the oppressor and thinking that by so doing, they will remember tomorrow that you were different from us who are fighting for you, you are mistaken. Because when they are discerning, they don't care to know what family you are from, what political party you are from, or from where. No. Listen, they don't care. This message, I'm passing it to the members of the traditional council in Chumba. These members of the traditional council in Chumba village, they know exactly why I'm passing this message to them. Because when La République du Cameroun will be aware that we now all know what role they played regarding those four people, those four people, 2 men, 2 women. Because my people of the Southern Cameroons, I asked myself this question several times. What would have happened? Why did Paul Biya's talks go for those 4 people? Why? But of course, the pieces of the puzzle have fallen in place. Because La République du Cameroun wanted to influence the choice of the new fund of Chumba for specific reasons, for reasons we all know. And so they even wanted to get there themselves with all their talks and install that fund of Chumba. But the elder said, no, don't come. If you come here, those voices, they will know that you are here and the atmosphere will not be good. So don't come. Leave it. Tell us what you want. And they got into a deal, my people. The members of the Chumba Traditional Council got into a deal with Mr. Paul Biya's talks and agreed that they will get the fund, enthrone him, and they will be able to influence this fund to do the bidding of Mr. Paul Biya against the people, as the wishes and aspirations of not only the people of Chumba, but of the Southern Cameroons. But they pointed out to Mr. Paul Biya's emissaries that there are 2 people that may be a problem. But the main man is this man who is a title holder. Among those 4 people, find out. One of them is a title holder. Of course, it's reported even. It is the members of the council that told the people of La République du Cameroun, this man will be your stumbling block. And if he's not there, fine. We will be able to influence this fund of Chumba. Just like Mingo Paul Gogomo was influencing the one of Bambalang to do the bidding of Mr. Paul Biya. That is what led to the fate of those 4 people. Now you know what I know. Now you are aware of what I'm aware. Now you are informed of what I was also informed. And so I'm trying to tell these people of Chumba, La République simply thanked you at that time. But when they come back to the place to move around and try to ensure that they keep us in perpetual slavery, they would have forgotten. My people, I will soon come to that Paul Biya speech before I move from there into the real crux of the matter, because the real issue of the day is still right ahead. Before I get there, let me stop again. Just these reminders are important because, like I said, and if you already followed Mr. Paul Biya's speech, you heard him. The main axis of La République du Cameroun is going to be trying to get as many people in our midst as possible to make sure that we hate our own liberation movement, that we hate our own aspiration for freedom, that we suddenly start telling ourselves that freedom we seek may not be good after all. And so that's why I'm dwelling on this, so that you know that there is nothing as sweet as standing with your people. Nothing as interesting as standing with your people. Look, on Thursday, December 23, one of our people, a Southern Cameroonian, who is a Supreme Court judge in Yaoundé, I don't know where he stands in this movement, whether he's really completely with the Paul Biya regime against our freedom, or he at least is a sympathizer of our freedom. That I can't tell. I don't get into judgments on that. But what I know is that he is a judge of the Supreme Court. I think I have some knowledge of him, but not very much. Just simple acquaintance knowledge. One of his children, his daughter, graduated from one of the institutions of higher learning in Yaoundé on that Thursday, December 23. And so he carried his family out for supper in celebration. When they were done, everybody was going back home. His 2 sons felt, oh, come on, it's a festive season. So let's go out there and have some fun. So they went to have fun. They extended their stay out, and they went to a snack bar called Kavana. That's not far away from Fulan in Yaoundé. So when they were having fun, gone past midnight, because the curfew hour for that particular snack bar is midnight, gone past midnight, boom, the place was raided. Everybody was, rounded up, and they took them to the commissariat. While at that commissariat, they stayed the night. On the morning of Friday, December 24, they started identifying for you. You had your ID card and all were not okay. You gave them whatever you gave and you went. You didn't have an ID card, they told you what you would give and you gave and you went. Now when they go to these two boys, these two young men, they spoke English. Just let me laugh here. They spoke English. Remember the pastor in Bamenda? He spoke French. And they said he spoke very good French. But these ones, they spoke English. And they said, so you are Southern Cameroonians? Okay, you stand this way. When they finished all the rest and they were gone, they dumped them back inside, despite the fact they had their ID cards. The curiosity here is that the police superintendent in charge of that police station at Fulan is of Southern Cameroon's extraction. Once he noticed these were Southern Cameroonians, and because his true bosses were his subordinates, listen carefully, he is the head of that police station, but his true bosses are his subordinates. And once they identified that these were Southern Cameroonians, of course the subordinates interpreted the policy, and so the boss had to wash his hands and shift. And when this Supreme Court judge learned that that was where his children were, he managed to get the contact of this police superintendent and started calling and calling. The man never picked his phone. This gentleman got in touch with other high-ups in the police corps from Southern Cameroon's extraction. They rained calls on this man's phone. He never picked. Because he didn't want to go against the decision of his true bosses who are his subordinates. Now you look at them, there will be inspector of police, there will be constables, there will be whatever, who are the true bosses of a senior police superintendent. Of course, because he speaks English. And so, at the end of the day, this August Supreme Court judge did not succeed in getting his children out on that December 24. They spent the night there, and they spent Christmas Day, Saturday, December 25, in the cell. For whatever crime, of course, you all know. And so, take note, already I was trying to skip almost a bit, that on Friday, 24th of December, by midday 1, the boss of the police station, who was from Southern Cameroon's extraction, immediately signed a transfer notice and had the super remanded, or transferred to the State Council's chambers, so that he washes his hands and now says to the Supreme Court judge, if he finally reaches him, that they are now in the hands of the Procureur de la République. And so it's at that level that they stayed the Christmas. And by the time it dawned on our brother, the Supreme Court judge, there were already instructions being dished out that these children will be remanded to prison custody in Konegi by Monday, December 27. It is thanks to the fact that Mr. Supreme Court judge had knowledge and acquaintance with the Attorney General of the Central Region that he drove to his house and said, this is what is about to befall me. And on basis of friendship, not on basis of policy, the Attorney General called and dished out immediate instructions for these children to be released, and they were released on a Sunday. Listen, they were released on a Sunday. What is the general lesson that we get out of this? That because you speak this language that I speak, because you are from Southern Cameroons, I want to talk of speaking this language just simply as an identifier, because by the way we dress, by the foods we eat, by the kind of way we carry ourselves, they know we are different from them. And that is a crime, my people. And that is a crime. So don't tell me that you are standing on the fence. Don't tell me you want to be a federalist. Don't tell me you want to be up, you want to be down, my people. As long as you are a Southern Cameroonian, trust me, failure of this movement and you have no home. So I bring some of these true and careful stories here. On this 31st day of December, as we cross over into 2022, that we know the truth, so that this truth will set us free. And this truth is that as long as you are a Southern Cameroonian, in the eyes of La République, you are not human. That we may have to get to that point where you have to put t-shirts again on you, like it happened in the United States of America one time, to say, I am a man, before the people of Mr. Paul Biya to recognize you. My people, I'm gradually moving to that speech. But before I get there, I again have the little vote of thanks. I want to. Sorry, that's not where I want to go. It's here. Good. You see, I'm sorry that video is upside down. That's how the auntie shot it. You see the little girl lifting her hands, the taller one. Because of those two, there's one who is slim and taller, who is talking and lifting her hand there. Of course, you can hear them in my background. They are singing Merry Christmas. That little girl, her name is Baby Joy.
Oh, my children.
Baby Joy was given only a few days to live on account of an illness she had and needed an immediate surgery. And I brought the matter on this platform and I talked about it. And I called on the feeling, that sentiment of national solidarity among the people of the Southern Cameroons. And my people, when I saw this video, I couldn't hold the tears of joy running down my cheeks. Because you, the people of Ambazonia, you, the people of the Southern Cameroons, you rose to the occasion. A lot of money was raised directly into the hands of the young aunt to this little child to help her have that succor. She was given less than 3 months to be alive because her case was completely life-threatening. Today, she is hitting the charts in her school, doing so well. You can see her there dancing and singing Merry Christmas, wishing Merry Christmas to Ambazonia, to Southern Cameroonians in thanksgiving for helping to save her life. My people, we showed what Southern Cameroonians are made of. Solidarity, a soft heart. There is a family, because you were asking me what happened, how did the surgery go? There was no surgery at the end of the day. Southern Cameroon's community in Minnesota gave in tremendous assistance. And there is a family, I'm not calling their name because they didn't give me the authorization to call the name. The gentleman is a medical doctor. With his wife, they decided to pay total attention to this child by using medical institutions in Bamenda. This man monitors this child on a daily basis and monitors medication, even dispatches medication from here, and took it as a personal duty to ensure that this child will survive from that ailment, that this child will not be cut off from the surface of the earth before her time, that this brave future Southern, that this future great girl will not end like that. It was an incredible show of solidarity. And my people of the Southern Cameroons, this is what this platform has helped in doing a good lot of time. Connect people to those who are in need. I couldn't be more grateful for the kind of heart that our people have. That is why we will make a great country. That is why, despite the confusion that the Republic is trying to sow in our midst, we will make a wonderful country. A land where people will envy. Where people will say, that is where I want to be. A veritable place to be. Our land. Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia will be. So I just wanted to pass that vote of thanks. And then this last piece of information, before I get into that speech and into the real beef of the matter. Sometimes when I bring up this issue, you say you are trying to create an alarm and cause our people to live in fear. No, my people. Information is power. When you are aware, when you are informed, you know how to carry yourself around. You know how to overcome this challenge. It is not fear-mongering. No, it is what I prefer to call information campaign. I heard about it. I tried it myself. Sometimes, try to call your family member, be it from abroad or even from ground zero. You call somebody on MTN. At some point, you just hear but a default message telling you, Orange cannot connect you to this number. Listen, you called an MTN number. But in the end, you hear Orange telling you, Orange, sorry, Orange cannot connect you to this number at this time. Or to this caller at this time. Does it ring a bell in somebody's head? This is an MTN number that you call. Then you are redirected. The call is redirected or rerouted to Orange. Simply for espionage purposes. Orange is a French company. MTN is not. So my people, why do I raise this? You might have experienced it. You just told yourself that no, this is just some kind of technical. It is not. All Southern Cameroonians, whether you are high up or you are nobody, we are being watched by La République du Cameroon. We are being listened to. So my people, there are so many apps out there. Make use of those apps. So many apps out there. I don't want to call any. Make use of those apps. Make use of too many channels of communication. And therefore, mind what conversation you hold on the phone while using the La République du Cameroon phone network. A word to a wise in this light is definitely sufficient. Now, let me get a bit now into Mr. Paul Biya's speech. When I do, I will come to the tweet by Ambassador Herman Cohen, because there is a correlation. If you started listening to my broadcast yesterday before I put it off the air for technical reasons, you would have heard me talk about this. And I'm sure if you did hear me talk about it yesterday, I think there were about 370 of you that were able to watch that video before it was taken off the air for technical reasons. You would have told yourself, but wait a minute, there's something which is connecting now with respect to what Mr. Paul Biya was saying in his speech of today. Because in his speech of today, Mr. Paul Biya still swears that they will have to continue to stay in our land. Although he knows that La République du Cameroon does not have the capacity, to stay there. At least even Herman Cohen told them that. You want to doubt it? Let me take you to this Cohen's tweet. This is a tweet by Ambassador Cohen on December 15. He said, after 4 years of conflict, it is high time for Cameroon's political leadership, both Francophone and Anglophone, to recognize that there is no military solution. Instead, they should jointly work towards a return to the pre-1972 federal arrangement between the regions. This was on December 15 from Ambassador Cohen. What was he doing there? He was moving straight in line, because that is the truth, with what the former U.S. Undersecretary of State at the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. State Department, Honorable T. Bonagi, said when he pointed out this way on Christmas Eve, when he talked about this suffering in all these countries, in Ethiopia, in South Sudan, in Cameroon, in Sahel, and everywhere. Remember Honorable Tibonagi has said over and over and made clear, and he even said it while he was still at the State Department to La République du Cameroon. You cannot overcome. Don't bother yourself. The United States has been there, and they didn't get to where you think you can get to. Not you. So, my people, Paul Biya still talks like that. And when I listen to Mr. Paul Biya very well, he continues to sing the song he has been singing over and over, that they are counting on the collaboration, the cooperation, and patriotism of Southern Cameroonians to assist him to kill our dream. I pointed out already a while ago that when he's saying like that, they are counting on people like those in the traditional council in Chumba. Those are the kind of people he's counting on. And I think he'll have them in their numbers. Those are the kind of people Mr. Biya is counting on. There's really not so much to talk about that speech because there was absolutely nothing about it. Paul Biya, he knows clearly the penchant of his country will be on propaganda because he said this, that they will have to embolden their action on the international scene to tell their own narrative because of all what is being said about his country by international human rights organizations. What does that say? Propaganda, as I said. Cover up. All of that. Public relations. And noted that they have about 5 new public relations firms that they have hired. Because La République recognizes right now that they have run out of options and they don't have cash on hand again. Soon, it will become very complicated. So they need to pay attention to that which can help bring more confusion in our midst, break our determination, halt our momentum, and make us to give up. And make us to speed victory. Make us to speed out our victory and embrace defeat from the jaws of victory. That is not going to happen, my people. That is not going to happen. So Paul Biya is clear. And he has repeated what I've told you over and over he will say, always. Because they will push people like you've seen Ambassador Cohen talking about pre-1972, talking about federalism. It's a gentle push to the efforts of Munzu. Ni John Fundi and his SDF are going to be drafted into this. In my next broadcast, I will tell you how and all the plans that are already being put in place. Because La République du Cameroon plans to anticipate general elections, to hold them beforehand for obvious reasons. They're not going to wait for 2025 when it's going to happen next. No. Listen, my people. When you hear him talk of decentralization, spatial status, and his insistence on vivre ensemble, he even said it today without conviction at all, because he himself realized that it has become a platitude. Because it is not connecting. It has not been connecting. It is not connecting anymore. Not even to his people. And he understands this absolutely. He says his country has created 3 new universities in the east, in the south, and in the north to make sure that the 10 regions of his country all have universities. Oh, other glorified high schools. You know why he announces those creation? Because when Mr. Paul Biya is faced with challenges like the one that is before him right now, like I said, 1, on the issue of the Southern Cameroons that have run out of options. 2, there is no more money. And so, he needs to distract the people. That is why he has announced something that's going to start happening again in the days ahead. He says the fight against corruption is going to be intensified and consolidated. And that anyone who has played around with public funds will face the cold arm of the law. Has anybody forgotten his silence on the COVID gate? My people, trust me, in the first quarter of 2022, don't be surprised to see Mr. Paul Biya descend on some of his closest friends. That has been his mantra over the years, distraction. But when that happens, pay no attention, pay no heed. Remain focused on the blue and white flag. Remain focused on the Southern Cameroon's quest for freedom. That is what matters to us, and that is what will define us, my people. I tell you verily, La République du Cameroon has been trying to push our back to the wall so that we ourselves should set standards by which they will use in their propaganda from by the time the can ends on February 15 on the international community against us. Yes, they want us ourselves to set those standards, so they will use those standards as a measuring rod on the international community to tell them that this matter is over. Because like I said, it's going to be a war of propaganda. That is why they started with Ambassador Herman on December 29, when they say having effectively prevented the Anglophone separatists from achieving their political objective. Effectively. How effectively? Listen. They want us to put out there to the world that if Mr. Paul Biya holds a successful AFCON in FACO, then our dream is over. So the ones who say it will all begin and end there. And that is why Mr. Paul Biya has spent billions of CFA, I mean billions of CFA firms, with public relations firms, with international media houses, media outfit. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for documentation, because I've been promised documentation on that. Look, my people, I say the money that has been spent is unimaginable just on FACO, because the next thing is just a propaganda. Yes. You want to be in Jackie talk. Out of 5-6 people where you see for streets for Limbe or Boya, at least 4 of them Nakatuna B, where they dress like me so. Out of every 5 or 6 that you see, I see at least 3 or 4 Nakatu. That's a fact. Because that is what they are thinking. My people, we should remind them. They hosted Kokan in Victoria. How did it go? Has anybody forgotten when Moja came out and said, 4 years of Ambazonia struggle. Morocco 4, Cameroon 0. Inshallah. And said because the voices were not there to come and play. Even their own Moja, their own court jester, mocked at them. Listen, my people. That AFCON is a few days, 3 weeks. After which, the real business of the day, which is a continuous prosecution of our liberation movement, will move on unabated. Completely unabated. Let us pay heed to that. Unbother yourself about all the propaganda they are making there. What we need to do is maintain our focus and keep doing what we know is the right thing to do as far as the prosecution of this movement is concerned. Just take a look at that CAN, that AFCON. It's even beginning very well for them. You see, la COVID-19 test dans la tanière de Lyon. 4 joueurs testés positifs. You find them there. That is the start. I've been reading on international media, this club dispatched players and have called them back. This European club had let players go, had set players free to go, and they have called them back. over COVID concerns. This one has done this. My people, calm down. Relax. Relax. The struggle is real. Southern Cameroon is real. Ambazonia is real. The last time I pointed out here that La République du Cameroun is bankrupt. They are in difficulties. They don't have the means to continue prosecuting the movement to keep us in perpetual slavery. Take a look at this. This is a payslip. You see the areas I've highlighted in yellow. Of course, those in black are blurs of the names and all the identifiers, anything that can identify the true owner of this payslip, of course, for reasons that we all know. This is the year. You see here, the year, that's année 2021, the month 11, that's November. And this was printed, that day, this was printed on the 28th of December 2021. And you see the amount here, net à percevoir, 151,980. This is for somebody who is a pensioner. You can see under here, position, gestion, pensionné, pensionné down here, where my cursor is, okay? Pensionné, célibataire. This person was earning this amount of money on pension right up until November last month, 2021, 151,000, as you can see here. Of course, I've also put certain things on the back to enable, to make it impossible for them to, get to take even a screenshot and try to identify this person who volunteered his pay slip, so that I should be able to make this demonstration for our people to know the facts. So that was November. And now this is December. The same person, you can see here, activité, pension, célibataire. So the same person. This is that edition printed on the same day, 28 December. But now you see année still 2021, but the month 12, that's December. Now look at the salary. Look at the take home. This is the pension, 75,990. Can you see that? From 156 to 75, that is in half. Half divided into two. This is the fate of all pensioners in La République du Cameroun right now. This is what is happening. Let me go back to the previous one just so you see, for comparison's sake. You see, 151,980. You leave from there and you come here, 75,990. November to December, the reduction about 50%. A lot of them, especially those collecting from the treasuries, because these people who are on retirement, who are collecting a pension, there are not many in the cities. They are all back in the villages. They only come or manage to show up in the treasury station somewhere and collect. Like, people knows they cannot easily regroup together in one place to say, but why is this happening to us? So what is happening to the people who are living on pension will soon happen to those who are in active service. I said this before. Some of you might have thought it was a joke. I said it 3 weeks back. You might have thought it was a joke. So I had to get someone to volunteer their pay slip. And this person even told me the first time, no, that thing is a lie. But I had to hurriedly call me and say, but I when I picked and took my salary, it's something I don't understand. I said, so what is it? He said, no, please, let me send you the thing and you see for yourself. There you go. November 151, December 75. Listen, the cost of occupation is growing by the hour. Growing by the hour. That is why La République du Cameroun is planning, and we have all seen, already enacted through the parliament, to start taxing Jangi, proceeds from Jangi. These are not things that follow normal channel. People meet in somebody's house on a Sunday and they eat, drink, and at the end of the day, you say, okay, I put in 20,000, put 20,000, this is 300,000, you take. You are the one benefiting today. Where would they meet you to collect the taxes on that? Or now they will start monitoring every home to see if people are meeting in Jangi in somebody's house. You definitely will find taxation post showing up at the door, and that's understanding there to wait. Who is collecting? Collect and come, let's do the calculations. Money transfers, money transaction that we've been doing, which is already attracting taxes. Now they say any electronic money transaction, which means you move money from your mobile money account to your sister just next door because she has a oh that transaction. Besides the tax that transaction alone, because it's electronic and has traces, will be taxed. Oh yes. This is what I want the people of the Republic of Cameroon to know. By sitting down and watching and cheering Mr. Paul Biya for making life impossible to the people of the Southern Cameroons, you thought that you were dealing with us. No, hell no. It's coming back on you. And for those Southern Cameroonians, still play around and say, I'm protecting my pay, I'm protecting Joe, I'm protecting this and that. My brother, my sister, this is the time to join us so that we shorten our movement. We shorten our journey to freedom. Because failure is not an option. And while I'm here, just before I go, I want to call on all and sundry to remember that our salvation will lie in synergy. It's not like we will fail. It's just that we will take a longer period of time with more consequences if we don't synergize. And like I said earlier, we have to be forthcoming, truthful, honestly reconcile with one another, confess to each and every one of us. We sit together. We talk truth. We talk justice. We confess. We all begin to heal. And then we synergize. My brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, that is how we will be able to overcome. We have said it before, that no single group, no single movement, no single organization will do it alone. Of course, the evidence is there today before each and everyone's eyes. And shouting. We must work together. There is nobody in this movement that has not made a mistake. Not even me. Listen, there is nobody in this movement that has not made a mistake. But we must recognize these errors, reconcile one another, heal, and then synergize. That's why I want to leave you with this by paying tribute to the late Desmond Tutu, who lived from 1931 to 2021, when he says, in our fragile and crowded world, we can survive only together. In our fragile and crowded world, we can survive only together. We can be truly free, ultimately, only together. We can be human only together. Only together. The insistence here is on togetherness. My people of the Southern Cameroons, let us rise to the occasion and recognize the importance and the need for us to be together. I want to thank you all for taking time off to share with me in this message. Once more, Merry Christmas again in arrears to those that have not heard it from my lips. And I wish all of us a happy and prosperous New Year 2022. And so short-lived our liberation movement. To God be the glory.